So our topic is here trunking. So types of link ports. It means, guys, we discussed here it access switches and one more access switch here in between. They are this access switch having some end users and this access user having some end users. These end users are connected likewise. These ports connected. And here you can assume this port is F0/0 and this port is F0/0. This all users are in VLAN 10 and this all users are in VLAN 10. So they are different floors. So whenever I'll configure likewise access port as a like access link, this type of link is only part of one VLAN. Okay. Any device attached to access link is unaware of VLAN membership. The device just assume it's a part of a broadcast domain. Whenever you are configuring this is an access port, like this port is like F1/0 and this is this is F2/0 and this port is like F3/0. These three ports are different ports. You configure like access port, access port, access port, but you assign like switch port mode is access and switch port access VLAN 10. This port will assume I am the part of the broadcast domain. It don't assume like he's in VLAN 10. It will broadcast entire that VLAN only, but it is like I'm the part of a it unaware of VLAN membership. But the device just assume it's a part of broadcast domain. In access layers, access link, it will be happen. It has no understanding of the physical network. It won't understand the whatever the physical network. Switch removes any VLAN information from frame before it's sent to access link device. Whenever the switch is, this PC is sending the information to this, he wants to communicate these or he wants to communicate these PC. Because both VLANs are both side, I configure like VLAN 10 and VLAN 10. They can communicate easily. Here, if you are using L2 switch also, here you are using L2 switch also, they can communicate. Because here also I configured access port and access port between the VLAN 1 is there. VLAN 1, what it will be sent, the traffic it will be sent in between. They can communicate. That time, what should I have to do? Here, I have by default VLAN 1 is there, so it won't to communicate. Sorry for that. Sorry, change. I should have to configure for this port as a VLAN 10 membership and same this port as a VLAN 10 membership. Whenever the sending the some packed frame, that time it whenever the it receive here, that time the frame it will be remove the frame before that it send on access link. It will be remove the frame. It will be remove the frame. It means whenever it is sending the packet, it will be remove the frame and it will be send. So here same VLAN can, if I configure likewise, then it will be communication will be happen. If here VLAN 10, if I want to communicate, here VLAN 20 is there. By default, they won't communicate to each other. If I want to communicate VLAN 10 to 20, so I need a L3 device. Here I need a L3 device. So that port I should have to make as a L3. That is the trunk port. Then only the port will be carry the multiple VLAN information. By default, access port will be carry the single VLAN information. Only one, it is a part of one VLAN. But this trunk port, whenever I am creating the VLAN trunk port as a trunk port, this is the trunk port. See guys, if I am not configuring the trunk port, I should have to like here again here VLAN 10 is there and this PC is VLAN 10 and this PC is VLAN 20 and this PC is VLAN 10. So here are not required for the VLAN 20 to 20 communicate, 10 to 10 to 20 communicate, different VLAN. I want to communicate, so I need a one more physical connectivity. So wastage of money also here. So what I will do, I'll just make it this port as a trunk. So trunk port will be carry the multiple VLAN information. A trunk link is a 100 to 1000 Mbps point to point link between two switches. That link Mbps speed is this much and it will be point to point connectivity, means switch to switch connectivity. It's a trunk port. If you are having here 100 VLANs, here 100 VLANs, this with the help of trunk port, we can communicate to each other. With the help of trunk, we can communicate to each other. If you are where it will be configured between switches, between router to switch, and between switch to server. Between two switches and between switch to router and between switch to server. Understood? We'll configure it two different switches or switch to router. Here router is there and one is switch is there and this is a server and this is a switch. In between, we'll configure trunk port. Because here router to switch, we have to carry the multiple VLAN information. So I should have to create the trunk port. This carry the traffic of multiple VLAN information like here, up to here. Trunking allows you to make a single part of multiple VLAN at a same time. It will be communicate a single part of multiple VLAN at the same time. Trunking allows. Trunking allows multiple VLAN information. In simple manner, access port, whenever you are configuring access port, it will be carry single VLAN information where will configure at host layer, host side. Host means PC. This is a PC. And trunk port where will configure in between two switches. Two switches is there. So we'll configure here. Here because this is a part of VLAN 10 and this is the part of VLAN 20. So here we have different two VLAN. If I want to communicate for here also VLAN 10 is there and here VLAN 20. This 20 wants to communicate 20 and this 10 wants to communicate this 10. So I need two physical connectivity. So here wastage of cost. So what I'll do for this single port only, I'll configure as a trunk port. If you have multiple here one more VLAN, so need one more physical connectivity. If you have another VLAN, another port connectivity. So each port carry the only one VLAN when you are not configuring the trunk port. If you are configuring the trunk port, The trunk port will be carry the multiple VLAN information. Okay, understood? Till any doubt? Access port and trunk port. Access port will be carry the multiple VLAN information and trunk port will be carry the access port is carry the single VLAN information and trunk port will be carry the multiple VLAN information. How will identify? So that is the reason whenever you are configuring the VLANs in between two switches, if you want to communicate two switches as two different VLANs, so there will frame tagging will be work. Frame tagging. So here VLAN 10 and VLAN 20, 10 is there and 20 is there, 10 is there and 20 is there. So here you are using trunk. So we call it as a frame tagging. This is the method is calling frame tagging. So for frame tagging, we have two types of methods. Two types of frame tagging methods. In that ISL, another one is 802.q. And single VLAN can span over multiple switches. So here, this VLAN can span if multiple switches. If you are connecting, one more switch also is there. This switch is connected likewise. And here you are using trunk. And you are advertising here also VLAN 10 is there. And here also VLAN 10 is there. We can communicate if we are using here VLAN 20 also, VLAN 20 also, you can span over here likewise. This is a access switch. Access switch is multiple access switches connected to each other likewise. Span over multiple switches. In order to make sure that same VLAN users on different switches communicate with each other, there is a method of tagging happen on trunk links. Yeah, that is a frame tagging method. This is a frame tagging method. Tag is added before a frame is sent and removed once it is received on the trunk link. Whenever this VLAN 10 is reaches to trunk port, this is a trunk port. This is a VLAN 10 received this, that time this frame tagging, this VLAN ID is removed. It will be more simple format with the help of this format, 802 or ASL format. But this is a Cisco proprietary, ISL is a Cisco proprietary, .1q is an open standard. That is the reason IEEE. It is a Cisco proprietary. And even though now we are not using this method because it's used 30 bytes of tagging method, but this is use only 4 byte of tag. This is a tag bit 4 byte bit of tag, but this is the 30 bit of tag. So it is a legacy method and .1q is the nowadays we are using this method. It's a traditional. You can say it's open standard, but this having the more feature compared to ISL. VLAN identify is what switches uses to keep track of all those frames moving through the trunk link. So whenever VLANs identify, will identify with the help of the tagging. This is the below methods. We have two types of method. This is all about access link and trunk link and link methods. We have two types. inter VLAN ISL, inter switch link, and dot one queue. 802.1q. If you have any questions, we'll discuss. This is all about our tagging methods.